pledge allegiance to these texts, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Would you mind leading us in a word of prayer, Brother Charlie?
Be glad to, Judge. Get up here for y'all to hear me. Thank you, brother. You bow your head, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning. Father, we thank you for the love and the mercy that you show us each day. Father, for the compassion that you have for each of your children. Father, I pray that as we open the Commissioners Court this morning, that you be with us. Father, you've given us a wonderful thing. You've given us a choice. Dear Lord, let us make the right choices, Father God. Let us do what you have called us to do, Father God, to better this county, to better this state, and to better this nation. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Please be seated. Item number 4, public comments. Brother Gerald Dieter.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. It appears that the Washington, D.C. situation has come to yield Cold Spring in San Jacinto County. We've had, in just a few years ago, one of the greatest presidents of the United States. And that man, from the time that he was took the stage as the president of the United States, was under constant criticism and crucified, and continues to be crucified to this day. This whole situation that is taking place this past weekend is nonsense. It's character assassination against a esteemed sheriff, a man that has been in law enforcement for 41 years, maybe 42 years, that was elected by the people. And he has not had the support, the 100% support of you commissioners and this county. And it's time that that change. It seems like, commissioners, you try to outdo one another when it comes to buying all kinds of equipment. And the equipment it sits in your yards and is seldom used, and you can't give an account of the usage of it. And it seems like that you accumulate and stockpile equipment and spend the county's money on equipment. And when it comes to doing roads, like Butch Arthur Road, for instance, Butch Arthur Road is treacherous to this day. It was not done properly, and the excuse goes to, you say the forestry gives you restrictions as to the width of roads. I haven't checked into that, but I would put my dollars in the fact that that isn't necessarily the truth. Oftentimes when we go to church on Sundays and Wednesday nights at Bible study, we have to dodge people either coming our way or us going their way and pull over to the side. should not be that way. One thing that I've noticed that you spend your money on is buildings. We have a criminal building, a criminal center that is on the outskirts of town that has been under construction for the longest period of time, and to my knowledge, still to this day, hasn't been fully furnished and utilized. Then you look across the street and you see what is called the Innovation Center. And none of you can tell us with a shadow of a doubt exactly what the Innovation Center is going to be used for. You allegedly have charts telling us what the usage is going to be. The building has been called something else 3 different times before the final name of the Innovation Center. And now, not only do you have that building that you've spent $3 million on, and we just recently discovered that you allegedly were only spending $400,000 on that building, and we're not so sure that that's the case anymore, because one of the organizations said that they gave you seed money. So we don't really know what the expense of that $3 million building is.
Peter, you went past the time, so can you come to the finish line? Because we got about 10 of them.
All right. All right. Well, when it comes to blame, everybody likes to shift the blame. And for what happened a month ago, the blame definitely isn't on the sheriff. And the blame comes because the sheriff was not fully funded and furnished what he needed. And he didn't have enough patrol for that area. Anybody that takes that little strip on 105 and sees that little strip of where San Jacinto County is, he would have to have a station over on that side of town in order to give it adequate patrol. When he's down to 3 patrolmen, and he's having to sometimes take these patrolmen off of their patrol and use them as jailers, or he's having to go to detectives to take the patrolman's place, the responsibility falls on you, because we have to beg, plead, and cry in order to get the adequate funding that is deserved of our sheriff's department. So, a lot of people have died needlessly. And it all comes down to lack of funding for the sheriff's office.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. I first want to start off and say that I can kind of see both sides of this. Most all y'all know that I'm a past county commissioner, and I don't carry this around very much, but I was also a sheriff's deputy in Orange County 50 years ago. So, anyway, and I see it from both sides. And so, I want to start out by telling you that since I was a county commissioner, I had 2 different times that I've actually called the sheriff's office for service. One was at my place of business that I had in town here, and one at my house. My next door neighbor had a family domestic issue. Anyway, and I can tell you that both times the sheriff's department, either by luck or very good operation, they were there within 5 minutes. And Anyway, and I will tell you that both times they were very professional, handled everything expertly. They caught the people that were burglarizing, and they were actually able to disarm this person that was at my neighbor's. So I just want to tell you, express to you that the sheriff is doing good too. It's not just all bad. The other thing I want to say is in my lifetime I did a lot of consulting work, and part of it, we did a lot of root cause. And I kind of looked at the situation, and I go, gosh, you know, the real root cause of some of all this stuff all comes from the crisis at the border. It has caused stress on our sheriff, on the citizens, businesses, everything. So that's kind of that. And then I also want to say that when it comes to salaries, you can definitely look up that TDJC pays their guards from day one over $20 an hour. And that's going to 2136, I believe it is, September 1st. And you can look that up online. I mean, they have their complete schedule of what they pay a guard. We don't, here at the county, if a guy has been a guard there for 5 years and he ain't got a promotion to a sergeant or a lieutenant or whatever, he ain't got a raise in 4 years probably. So TDJC continues to increase their salary with their experience. When we're trying to compete with that, you lose. So on the other side of the coin, I was looking at Polk County. They have it publicized, and they have some jailer openings, and their starting jailers also without a license is 14 and some change. So just hope I give you some good information, and I don't want to see our sheriff having to take officers off the street and man the jail because we don't have jailers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Diane, go on, Luke.
I'm gonna pass mine on to anybody that might want to stand up and say something.
I don't know if it's transferable or not, but you're gonna speak at your time.
I'll pass.
You pass, all right. I know how to say it. Carissa.
Okay, I'm up here. I've been coming to this court for almost 2 years because I wanted to be educated about what was going on in the county and how things were going. And what I have learned is not hearsay, it's my observation and my observation only, my opinion and my opinion only. What I see is 40% of this court is very biased against our sheriff's office. What I see is when anytime the sheriff's office stuff comes up, 40% sit up here and sneer and smear. I believe that 40% of this court is compromised. I apologize to the 60% of you that are not, but that's how I see it. And I think that that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Next we have Ms. Sheena Bass.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing here before you as a 40-year-old citizen of the United States of America. I chose to come here 40 years ago. Never in my wildest dreams did I feel that I would be ashamed of the people that I voted for or helped endorse. I am today. I get the distinct feeling that there is mayhem and murder or assassination of people's characters that are going on by the very 40% that Sharissa mentioned. This is not tolerable. It's unacceptable. You are endorsed by us. You are voted into your positions by us. And I think it's time we took you out. You know who you are. The despicable behavior that you have displayed, the means by which you're using, are utterly unacceptable. They're unacceptable to me, and I think the good man ahead or above us doesn't like it either. You are to do our bidding. You are citizens just as we are. You are power hungry, and you are trying to destroy a man who is working extremely hard to keep us all safe under deplorable conditions. I cannot agree with it, and I personally will do whatever I can to limit your power. Thank you.
George Garrett.
Judge, Commissioners. Sunday morning, sitting around with my wife, having coffee, and something popped on my screen from ABC 13 alerts. Headline was, San Jacinto County deputies arrived 4 times longer than sheriff's report. So, okay, fog of war. Maybe there's going to be some honest reporting of what really happened.
He did adjust it,
I
it still
did.
didn't work.
Who shut it off?
Battery.
Santa Claus.
That battery is
Oh,
dead.
wow. Battery's loud.
All right, I can project. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, so I started looking into the actual report, and it took about 2 sentences for me to see that this was an organized hit job. It really was not about trying to look at timelines, what really happened. This was an attack on our sheriff, plain and simple. It got worse. I'd like the time back.
Be claiming this time.
You want me to be a game show host? So it got worse as you wade deeper into the article, and it becomes very infuriating, because this had nothing to do with the timeline. There were words like corruption, poor morale, things of that nature going through there, all pointing the finger at our present sheriff. The most disturbing part of this, there's actually 2 parts of this really disturbing to me. The most disturbing part that led up to the next disturbing part was they mentioned Greg Capers when he came into office and equated him to Humpty Parker, the most notorious sheriff in the last half century of the 20th century. I was appalled. That was then followed up by the next paragraph, led by Commissioner David Brandon, when he said, I thought we'd overcome that, but I guess we haven't. There you go, bingo. We lump Lumpy Parker and Greg Capers in the same boat. But we didn't tie it for river. We tied it with a neat little square knot. So I think that's repugnant. Mr. Brandon, you could have taken a higher road. You could have said something, no comment, we support our sheriff, but you didn't. What you did was terrible. So I look at this court and the powers that you have, and it basically falls into several functions. You do budgets, you do broad policy changes for the county, you vote on unbudgeted equipment, you do road maintenance, and sometimes, when you're lucky, we get our easements mowed. So that is your job. I think I've been here enough to know that there is interference coming from this court to our sheriff. He has to fight for everything he gets. So I would ask you to do your job that any other county commissioner in the 254 counties of this state would do. And that is those items previously listed. Now, I think what happens, and I was in consulting, I think what happens is that you kind of get insular. There's a thing called Dunning-Kruger. And Dunning-Kruger basically says when a person thinks they're better than what they are, they're experiencing Dunning-Kruger. And I think you guys need to take an introspective review of yourself and come together to support our county and our sheriff. Thank you.
Let me Kerry Hagan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Pretty good. Your Honor, members of the council, it's good to be with you this morning. It takes me about 10 minutes to get up here. I hope you excuse that. But as my doctor says, we're trying to keep my foot from killing my new 29-year-old heart. So that's a good pursuit. I want to tell you that I represented your sheriff in the lawsuit that was brought by a deputy. I was not paid. I talked to Judge Trapp about it, and he didn't have an objection, thought it was a good idea, so I went down and represented Greg at the deposition that occurred in that lawsuit. I recommended that lawsuit not be settled, but your insurance carrier has a more dominant vote in the matter, because their vote was about their money. So it did get settled. But I, like a number of people, received a video on my phone this week and also received an article, and I thought that was interesting that they would quote that whenever Greg didn't have anything to do with that decision. There's 5,400 officers down in Houston. They've got 13 divisions, and then 2 subdivisions underneath that, and 29 storefronts. It's a little bit different situation down in Houston. They've got an army of people down there trying to keep peace, and I don't know how many people we've got up here, but it ain't 5,400, I know that much. This is a much different situation up here in San Jacinto County, and thank the Lord for that, because that's why I'm here. This is really about tribalism. It's about us and you And it's about people in a rural environment that have certain attributes and beliefs, and people in an urban environment that don't have worse or bad, just different. They want to live differently than we do. Now, we don't have the ability to address national immigration policy, and we don't have the ability to address the culture that we're in, which is causing these root problems that we see. I will tell you that I've had 3 careers. I was a board-certified trial lawyer in Houston. Then I went to seminary, and I got a degree in psychology, and I was a marriage and family therapist, and now I'm a country lawyer. So I've had this therapy thing sandwiched by 2 experiences in the law business. The issue that we have is about taboos. It does not occur to me to go next door and shoot people and shoot a child and execute them. Not because of laws, but because whenever I was certainly within days of being born, I was in a community that taught, thou shalt not kill. I don't covet my neighbor's wife, or his property, or his children, or his money, not because there's a law against it, because there's not. I don't do that, because thou shalt not covet. We get branded with this terror on 59, but the terror is not up here. It's not on 59, it's down there. Their power to criticize us ends at the county line. They have plenty of business to take care of down there in Houston.
Amen.
And I suggest that they take care of their own business and leave us to take care of our business.
There you go.
Down here to item number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve the interlocal agreement.
What happened to us speaking? We put up a letter to speak.
Did I miss one?
It's
Is it there?
2. We have 3 people that haven't spoken yet.
Hold on.
It's right there, I think, on the table.
Linda. Yeah, all right, go ahead, Linda. Al McGuire.
It's right, it's on here.
Al McGuire, okay. Sorry about that.
I had learned it too, 40 years ago. Good morning, thank you for your time, thank you ladies and gentlemen, citizens for being here. Check the chart, I'm just going to say ditto to a lot of people in front of me that spoke because they've already said a lot of what I was going to say, but the thing I wanted to make a point about was and listening to Tim Scott and Alan Jackson speak on the television, I want to bring up the point, why do we do what we do and who we are? And talks a lot about grace and mercy, and we'll talk about professionalism, accountability, and I have this report here looking for answers. There seems to be some good answers here. I don't claim to be an accountant, but there are people who are far brighter than I am that see that this will probably work. And I asked the question also, would any of you work for this salary and go without a raise? Go without a raise for 4 or 5 years. That's how I kind of try to walk in other people's shoes when I do things. And, you know, I want to talk about staying focused on the real issues and to be careful about throwing stones. Because it says in the good word that him who has no fault throw the first stone. And so, you know, I try to handle myself with integrity and honesty and to be a light. There's enough darkness in this world, I'm going to tell you, because the word tells us that good is evil and evil is good. And I see it more so every day in this world. So, I think we all have to be accountable to ourselves and who we're going to stand before one day. And I know money's important. We all need money to live. We want to live a lifestyle like the Joneses. But we have to learn to take care of our brothers. Because love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor yourself, and we're all neighbors. You know, since I moved here, been here a little over a year, one of the things you hear a lot, and I've lived in a community before I came here for 40 years, is there's a lot of sense to be entitlement. You know, just because I'm a newcomer here doesn't mean I don't have an interest in this community or care about this community. Doesn't mean I'm entitled to anything. I don't care if you've been here 3 or 4 generations. Sometimes, you know, good ideas are a good thing, and sometimes a change of leadership is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, especially if it improves our community. I love Cold Spring, I love San Diego County, and I love the United States of America. So I think we've kind of gotten off track in a lot of things in this world and in this life, that we need to go back to some basics of, you know, what's important and what are we leaving behind. What kind of legacy are you leaving behind? And we've got good people, and I don't understand why people think that you're out slandering or causing defamation of character. Because eventually that comes all back to us. I try to only speak truth out of my mouth. And I think we have to account for all those things that come out of our mouth or don't come out of our mouth. Sometimes silence is just a bigger killer. It's saying something that's wrong or untruthful. So thank you for your time. Pray that y'all make good decisions and we'll support the good that you do, and we want to support our sheriff. Thank you.
Okay, that's why I didn't know they were there. Ann, Alicia, and Dale.
Honorable Commissioners, I'm here today because I want to talk about the request for money from the Sheriff's Department. I find that disgusting. You can't account for the money that they've had in there. How do I know this? Because I've read the Lyons report. What happened to the money? Did he go gambling with it? Was it used for a convention, a cop convention? Did y'all know that? Get out of here.
Listen, we need to maintain a little order here. Everybody's got their right to say what they want to say, so everybody else that spoke, everybody jumped up and hollered at him, so let the man talk. Let's talk
Did y'all
about
approve
something.
that, or did he just?
Listen, sir, let's talk about something that's on the agenda though. This isn't just a complete bash session.
I'm requesting an investigation into that department. I demand y'all to investigate this department for mishandled funds. We don't need to pay $50,000 of our money to have this place investigated and y'all not follow up with it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that he forgot about Trails Head. It's disgusting that he wants to use his budget as excuses. You know, he knows where the problem area is. He could put an officer there. To put him down there on Fall Story or somewhere of that nature, instead of sitting at Paradise Grill. How about the bed dumps? The response time, the media, it's shameful. Is this something you county is proud of? I'm not proud of it as a resident. I can tell you that. Yeah, they want to dance around the question of the response time that they showed up. Because he's good at dancing, that's what he is. He's a political joke. So we know what time he really responded and how long it took him. It's because he felt it wasn't really necessary to pay attention to the areas that needed the most help, or those people might still be here. There might be other people here too. He done his job correctly. I think he's unprofessional. I demand you guys look into this department and investigate.
I got one question for you. May I ask how you got?
I refuse to answer questions. Thank you. That's correct. Where's your proof? Show me the proof. Show me the proof. Come on. Don't touch me. On the front page of the report.
Listen,
You guys need to bring the media to AP, that's because of me, and I'm going to continue to bring them.
Listen, folks.
Let's get that.
Justice for John Lang, justice for Trails Head.
People dying.
I traded gold with you, I know who you are. Yeah, it's not like we don't know each other, shut up.
Attention, everybody, this is a public meeting,
Exactly.
so you have to behave with a little decorum in the meeting. If you're gonna disrupt the public meeting, there's laws against that, I'm gonna have to ask them to remove you. Please keep it civil. We're grown-ups here.
Respect.
Young lady,
I was here.
Jones, Miss Jones?
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Alright, I was here 10 months ago because my brother was murdered. And when he called the sheriff's office a month before it happened, I have an audio recording where he said he's not coming out, we don't care about nobody's ears. Now, you can refuse that if you want, but I have the audio if you would love to listen to that, okay? My brother wasn't important enough because he was one person. They arrested my nephew for my brother's murder, knowing that somebody else has done it. And that guy is still walking around and harassing people. I filed police reports and nothing's been done. 10 months ago, I begged you guys, and I talked to you guys about the Lyons report, and I was told that that was not true. The Lyons report was not there. I have it. I've spoken with the investigator who did it. It's a mess right now. So, in 10 months, 5 more people have been murdered. People want to talk about the budget, but let me tell you, if you look at the body camera footage of my brother's murder, it's embarrassing. No crime scene tape. They put an old, used up paper plate over the bullet casing. They laughed and joked about it like it was no big deal. And they lied in the newspaper the very next day. Why did they lie in the newspaper the next day? Because they didn't want me to fight. I'm the bad guy for fighting for the justice for my family. I'm the bad guy because I lost my brother, and for no good reason. It could have been prevented just like these other 5 people. If you want to talk about a budget, let's talk about the education of each individual that's working in that sheriff's department. Now, do I agree with these people when they say that you guys have failed your job? No, there's 2 individuals on this department, on this board, that have been fighting hard. They fought for this Lyons report, so did all of you guys did. But the bad thing is you guys kept it a secret. So now all these people here have no idea what's really going on in this town, and they're looking at you like the bad guys now. Because you were protecting a friend. Because you were protecting a colleague. Because you had maybe a favor to give. I don't know. But what I know is that should you guys all be taking the responsibility because you protected this man for so long, and maybe you're protecting him because you're protecting other people that is involved in this. I don't know. But what I do know is this. I promised 3 years ago I'm not going to stop fighting for my brother and the people in this community. Unfortunately, 5 more people have died. 5 more people in 10 months, that's an average of 1 person every 2 months. How bad do you think this is going to be if you ignore it? This isn't about a budget. This is about cases being thrown in a corner where nobody gives a crap about it. Nobody is protecting the evidence that it takes to get somebody through a trial. They refused to investigate my brother's murder. They refused. And in the newspaper 2 weeks later, they said the investigation was complete. They're giving it over to the DA. They didn't even have an autopsy back yet. Not one autopsy back yet. And your investigation is done and you've never talked to 11 witnesses?
Never even came and talked to me.
Never came and talked to the family.
I stayed at my house until 10 o'clock that morning while my husband's body lay there for 6 hours. Do you think Capers even came and offered his condolences to the deceased wife? No, I'm sitting there waiting for him to come tell me what happened.
So
nothing.
This man
to do that?
This man who murdered my brother has harassed multiple people, put guns on multiple people. He's come to my work with guns on his head. It's going to happen again. This isn't the last time this is going to be in the meeting. You guys can be in denial all you want. But the problem here is that when these officers came out to my house, when I finally filed a report after 3 years, because I was terrified to call them, when they finally came to my house, you know what they told me? I need to go in my backyard and learn how to shoot. I need to learn how to shoot because my life's more important than this other guy. They didn't come to offer me protection. They insulted me. I'm not the person that this guy is that killed my brother. I don't want to shoot somebody. That's what his job is to protect the community. Not to leave them out here feeling alone and vulnerable. And that is what these people at Trails End has been going through for years. This has not just happened overnight. This is what's happened over a period of protecting somebody over and over and over. And if you think that multiple officers are coming forward, that's because they have a heart. You know what God says about corruption? It damages your character. Permanently. So, I have God in my heart, and my heart is pure. And my family has suffered along with a lot of other people, and I'm sorry if he's your friend, and I'm sorry if you guys want to protect him. But my family has been destroyed over the fight and the corruption and the death and the worry that this guy is going to do it again. He's going to do it again. He's kidnapped kids. He's shot at kids. I mean, to do nothing out of this fight because you don't want to look stupid. You already look stupid. What we want is protection. What we want is the murders to stop. But when you do nothing with cases over and over and over and over again, guess what that tells the criminals? They can come here. Nothing's going to happen. And I'm sorry that I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to hurt some feelings, but I think that 3 people on this board are friends with him, have a relationship with him business-wise, and they should not be voting. But I want to know why $49,000 was paid for this report. Why did you guys want that? Why did you want this report? If you're not going to take the recommendations of what they're trying to tell you is going to protect this town, do you want the FBI coming in again? That's where it's heading. It is heading there. I don't think you understand that. I would too. I really would. Because I think this community needs it. I mean, there's a lot of people here that are suffering. And
If one walking around, but shouldn't be walking around. So, let's agree on that. May not be.
I don't know who that person is that's walking around, but I believe that every life is important.
Every life, no matter if I made a bad decision or not.
But it doesn't mean protect him. If he doesn't know what he's doing, I'm sorry. I'm sorry he doesn't know what he's doing. I've been a paralegal for years. I've lived in big cities. I've never in my life came to a town where it's such a chaotic mess and nobody has protection from anything. To be scared to call the police, the budget's not going to fix that. It's not going to fix that. And everybody knows that if it's his buddy, if it's his friend, if it's somebody he knows or he's dealt with or he's grown up with, it's a different type of relationship. And my time's up when I say.
I'm professional, just like our campus is on.
So this is the slide that was lost into this sheriff, okay? Just so everybody sees that, okay?
Is there anybody else? Is there any more of those forms sitting up there that?
No.
What's your name, ma'am?
Annalisa.
Okay, you were on that other form.
Yes, I was.
Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
What's your last name?
Tiller. It's good to meet everyone. I'm glad everybody's here. I'm just here to speak a little bit. I live in Trails End, and I run a group, and I have about 1,700 people in that group that are scared to come here before you guys. Scared of the repercussions of what will happen from the sheriff's office. I live there. I live right down from where the mass shooting happened. I saw what happened. Firsthand. Firsthand. I was there. I held hands with people that had died. Their family had lost people. Children.
Man, we can't hear you, but you're speaking to the microphone.
Sure, here. Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I was saying, I live in Trails End, and I'm an activist for everybody there. I run a group there. I have 1,700 people in there that are scared to come here. They're afraid of repercussions of what might happen to them from the sheriff's office. I can tell you that we have gunfire there, like it's 4th of July every night. And that's not safe. Bullets are going through people's homes. They're damaging their cars. We're reporting this. Now, if the sheriff's office would just take the time to look into these people's homes and check who's doing this, maybe we would find out that they're illegal, they're not supposed to be having a firearm, they're wanted. Things of that nature could be happening, but it's not. I have cried to the sheriff's office for 6 years. 6 years to get them to come out there. But they say our roads are so bad, they don't want to come out there. Is that an excuse not to come and help us? Is that a reason? 5 people are dead now. 5. How many more have to die before we can take care of this? I blame the sheriff's office. I do. I hold them responsible for what's happened because no one comes to our community. If gunfire wasn't random like that happening and people didn't think they could get away with it, we've got so many illegals living right there that no one does anything. Nothing's happening. It's allowed. I'm asking you guys to please look into this further. Why is this being allowed? What's going on in the paper? How are they finding things out about our community and exposing us this way? Shameful. And it starts with our sheriff's office. And I know firsthand they don't help us. Thank you for your time. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good.
Sure.
My name's Charlie Lombardino, pastor of Big Creek Cowboy Church. And I've lived down here for a long time, for about over 30 years. I've seen different sheriffs in office. I've seen different commissioners in office, and I've tried my very best to be a good citizen in this county. And I'm in Mark Martino's county, and I like Mark. Me and Mark get along very well. And I know Johnny, I know that man right there, and I know all of them. But one thing that we will not ever get accomplished in this county until we learn what unity is, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Yelling and hollering and putting the blame on different people and this and that and everything else, it's not going to work. Because then you get attitudes, and then when you get attitudes, you get hatred, and when you get hatred, you're mad at one another, and you single people out. Just like we've seen today. That's not going to work. The first thing we need to do is don't forget who we are. The reason we're like we are today is because I said earlier in that prayer, God gave us choice. He gave us choice to do good. He gave us choice to where if we didn't want to do good, we could do bad. Unfortunately, this world that we live in is not a good world. We've allowed ourselves to fall into temptation and all kinds of different things. But until we can come together as a county and a nation, nothing's going to ever get solved. I'm teaching right now in the book of Revelations, and it's clear right there where we are today. We get mad at somebody, we hate them. God doesn't love hatred. He says one thing I hate is hate. He hates hate. We've got to work together. And this screaming and hollering and all of this other stuff and jumping up and all this other stuff. I was asked to speak this morning. Somebody came to me and said, "Do you want to speak this morning?" I said, "No. I just wanted to listen." Well, I listened. And thank you, Judge, for letting me come up and say something. But when we can learn to work together instead of working apart and having this special interest and all this other stuff, nothing is going to get solved.
So help us.
Now, I want to tell you something. I don't know whether we've got a lot of Christians in here today or we don't. I pray we do. But the first thing we need to do, and the most important thing we need to do is get on our hands and knees and pray. And pray for this man.
Item 5, announcement of public discussion
You guys talk about it here. And here you
I'd like to give a shout out to Lonnie, the maintenance crew, for how good our courthouse looks on the inside. They repainted it for their stuff.
Yeah, they did a very good job. Anything else? We'll move on. Action items. Item number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve interlocal agreement for the fiscal year 24-25 biennium between Regional Public Defender Office, Local Government Corporation, and Sampson County. Mr. Dillon here? Really want him to weigh in on this. This is with the Regional Public Defender for capital cases out of Lubbock, Texas. It says the current interlocal agreement expires September 30th, 2023. And they've attached the new agreement. I must have missed that because this may just be a formula. I didn't realize we never entered into it. What they do is provide, it's kind of like, they provide defense in capital murder cases. They, thank the good Lord, that hasn't happened here in a long time, but we have one sitting in our laps right now. And what they do is, you hope you never get one and you pay so much a year based on your size of your county. Because every county, they got a list here, every county in the state, there's a different premium to participate in this interlocal agreement. San Jacinto County, $16,090. We had capital murder that actually got prosecuted as capital murder since probably the Jones case, maybe back in the 80s.
Talk to the DA about this before you
It doesn't really have much to do with him. It's going to provide defense. You have this in place, then if you do get one, they analyze so that it's kind of like having insurance, legal insurance, you might say. Mr. Dillon certainly wouldn't be the one. So he'd be the
Authorized under 790 to do that.
Well, I don't think we've ever had one before.
No, we haven't. The letter starts out with the agreement expires, but that's when all of their agreements expire for every county in the state. And I don't think we actually have one.
So if you look on C right before the signature page, it's got a paper tick.
We got till September 30th to get it back.
Well, it says the current, we don't have a current agreement. We instead of buying the insurance every year, we not bought the insurance, and up until now, we haven't had capital murder. We have one right now. I'm not sure if we've signed up now that they're gonna cover the one that's already happened anyway. But
What's our exposure if we don't sign?
the estimate that Mr. Dillon gave was a couple $1 million. That's over the course of the entire trial, appellate process. That's what it could cost over a 20-year period. The Jones case didn't cost near that much. That was 37 years ago. It was a long time. It's a good idea. I just, perhaps we ought to.
So will it, do you think it'll cover the
one that we got coming up.
That'd be like getting in a car wreck and then
After
going and buying insurance after the car wreck. We're still looking at grants to try to help fund and offset the cost of that. I'd really like to get his let's put it on the next agenda after we've had a chance to. I thought he was coming over here. We may not have had a chance to look at this. Not a bad idea. It may not be, it may not be budgeted in the, we may have, if we decide to do that, then we can start it effective October 1st. I think it's a good idea. We kind of yeah, we just kind of, it's kind of like just buying liability insurance and hoping you don't have to wreck it. I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon and a second by Commissioner McNally to table this to the next meeting. Any discussion? All in favor on the motion to table, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Table to next meeting. Get EA meeting. Item number 11, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve the amendment between Tyler Technologies and Sanson Academy. Ms. Curry's not here.
This is the one where they were doing the transfer.
Yeah, they're bound to be getting all those.
And they needed to extend that one other month. That's the motion.
I have a motion to approve the amendment to the Tyler Technologies agreement with the county. Tyler Technologies provides, they have provided over the years, software for the court systems, the DA, the district clerk, the county clerk, and the clerks. Earlier in the year requested that they found something they like a lot better and were in the process since about May doing the switch over. They're in the process of taking all those records and transferring them over and putting them up so they can get us online with this new system that they've requested. And that's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, second by Commissioner McNally. Any comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0.
When we get my name, Tyler, or she'll
Item number 12, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to open, review, and award bid on pickup trucks. The trucks provided with insurance on, is that what you're doing?
That's not bad.
I think so.
No.
That's not Tuesday. No, that's Tuesday.
Well, these are, no, this is,
Okay, this will be permitting.
okay. All right, so I got my suit britches on, I didn't bring my
There you go, then bring it.
I've lost two. Oh, it's open, so, well, just the outside, so the inner envelope is not open. This, I got one here from Covert Chevrolet Olds out of Bastrop, Texas. You ain't put your hand short on this one. No, there you go. To whom it may concern, please accept this letter as Covert Chevrolet's bid reference 21420623 to Chevrolet Silverado Crew Cab, two-wheel drive, power locks, power windows, AC, power steering, power brakes, cruise control, rear view camera, and keyless remote. Price drive out for both trucks, $81,832.70 or $40,916.35. Over $40,916.35. That's a 23 model Chevrolet Silverado as described in the bid specs. No name on the outside. This is out from Wiesner, out of Huntsville. In stock, ready for delivery, says $46,985 plus fees, total $47,331.84. Is the motor different these days? $47,331.84. It says an L84, which is a 5.3 Ecotech V8. That's Wiesner. And this one says a L3B engine, 2.7 turbo. That's a six-banger? That's not exactly apples to apples. You wouldn't think you go from a 6 to an 8, it comes to $7,000. You go on with a diesel or a Dodge, I can see that. All right. Next. Martin Chevrolet Cleveland received, please find 3 separate proposals for a regular cab. Now that Covert was a crew cab pickup. Wiesner was a regular cab pickup. Yeah, regular cab pickup. I didn't know we went out for regular cab. Anyway, 3 separate proposals for a regular cab, quad cab, and crew cab as requested. Let's see if they get. No, it says number 1. Prices are the same, but it's got number 1 and number 2 on the Wiesner bid. Well, I say, now one of Wiesner's They bid on a 5.3 Ecotech motor, that's a V8 motor. Yeah, regular cab. These are both regular cabs. It's got a number 1 here and a number 2 here, but they look like the same vehicle. Alright, the Covert had a, first one was a crew cab. That looks like a small, 2 trucks, the same. Anyway, back to Mark. Due to current constraints, tradesman trim levels and regular cab trucks are not open for order for fleet customers at this time. But we happen to have a regular cab and a crew cab tradesman on the ground as of July the 6th. We have included in our bids. If these trucks would work for you, they will be available immediately. Our bids for quad cabs are based on the current access to order from Stellantis as of July 6th. V8, now we're getting somewhere. These are for Dodge trucks. 2023 Ram 1500 pickup, V6 gas motor, 2-wheel drive, 8-foot bed, 8-speed transmission. $35,727. $35,727. That's for a regular cab. And then they got a price on a Lone Star, which is a 3.6 V6 gas motor, HP automatic transmission. We would like to two 1500s, $45,130. Wait a minute, sale, that's the MSRP. The sale price is $39,636 plus title and registration, $40,074. $40,034. Now that's a quad cab. That's got 4 doors. That's, I think the quad is kind of a small 4 door.
No, it's bigger than that.
Is it? Okay. So you got it. Anyway, quad cab, $40,074. They got 2 of them. The last proposal they gave us is for a crew cab. Crew cab, 2-wheel drive, 3.6 motor, 8-speed transmission. These are all rubber mats. $42,834. $42,834. What's the difference between a crew cab and a quad cab?
The crew cab is just a 4-door regular, quad cab has got the extra room in that.
What the?
Behind the seat, the back.
Oh, it's like regular, but it's just got a little area in the back. Extended cab, what we used to call extended cab. I didn't know they still made that.
No, it's a 4-door, but it's got a little bit more room in the back seat.
Oh,
The quad cab is just a regular four-wheel.
These are all for the permit, right?
No, these are just regular pickup, not loaded out to shit.
Yeah, these are not just for the public's information. These are not the trucks we went out to bid for the sheriff's department.
So. We got one regular cab, and it's 35,000. Then they have a, quad is 40,074. Yes. Yeah.
And I think the reason for four-wheel drive trucks.
It didn't say four-wheel drive. Let's see, how much
Not that they need it, I had it.
Yeah, you're right. One of them is a four-wheel drive. They're both four-wheel drive. The Wisner trucks are four-wheel drive. And does the permit office need a four-wheel drive? We didn't put four-wheel drive in the bid sheets.
We just did what they did.
Yeah, which I appreciate that. I like that. I'll get a premium for cooking Johnny's too, that's the best price, but whatever.
We had enough.
What y'all did was take the environmental budget, split it. Half of it went to permitting for a truck and half of it went to other expenditures for a truck. So each one of those was $40,852.
They don't need but one truck in that department, though. They already got a truck for the other people in the department.
But that's what y'all said, you're going to put one for permitting and then buy another one and other expenditures for whoever needed it. That's what y'all said.
I don't remember it said like that.
So maintenance is looking for a truck.
The idea was we had the money in the budget. We'd save that in the budget instead of trying to put one in next year's budget. Use what we have allocated, the resources we have available right now. Which is a good idea. We got people who need the truck.
So I'll make a motion to buy the crew cab and Corvette at $40,916.35 and the Ford cab for Martin at $40,074. That's doable, right? And money in that?
Yes.
Dodge, one Chevy, but it's cheaper than two.
Yes.
They're pretty close.
Whoever gets can arm wrestle, whoever gets to grab the Dodge, right? I have a motion by Commissioner Martino, second by Commissioner Mars to buy the four-door truck from Covert Chevrolet and the four-door truck from Martin Chevrolet. The quads at $40,074. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. We're gonna have a look at it. Number 14, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to review and approve the broker of record letter received from Massa informing us Texas Financial Center, Inc. is recognized as the broker agent and authorized to act as our representative in negotiations in regard to MASA. What's this all?
They, from what I understand in conversations, they have basically changed the way they do business, and they have looked to a broker to help grow that business. So this basically authorizes this broker to act in with Mesa to come to our open enrollments and offer this benefit to our employees at open enrollment. So they have changed the way they're doing business. From what I understand, they're just trying to grow the business, and it just authorizes this broker to sell the Mesa product at our open enrollment to our employees.
And for the public, the Mesa product is the,
It is. It's another one just like PHI, but Mesa is worked up a little bit different as far as the benefits go. They will cover ground and air, depending on what tax emergency, if something were to happen, it's just further coverage.
I'll make that motion. It's up to the individual if they want to purchase that. Owner on the county is not providing any of that.
Yes, sir, that's
I'll
right.
make that motion. I'll second that.
By the way, this is number 14. I might have said 13, but it's 14. I have a motion by Commissioner Natuno, a second by Commissioner Brandon. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Number 13, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to decide to complete the Texas election form under the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act. Mr. Carroll, what you got on that?
This is the National Forest Service money that we receive each year. They're wanting us to elect how they want to receive it going forward. And you either got the 7-year rolling average or the Secure Rural School Act state payment.
Which election puts the county in the best financial position?
The SRS full payment method brings us $160,000, and that's what I'm recommending we do. I spoke to other counties around that they're doing the exact same thing.
I have a motion by Commissioner McNally, a second by Commissioner Brandon to make the election that puts $160,000 in the county budget through the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act payment.
Excuse me. Also, just to further that, we're going to put 85% in Title I and 15% in Title III, which is what we've always, that's how we've been doing it.
The motion, is that what you intended?
Yeah, that's what we've done. That's what I would say. Also, Caroline, just so you know, I had a discussion with the Forest Service, and I mentioned this to you before. There's a chance we might get our hands into that Title II fund also. We're at 37,000. We'll put this wall.
Any comments, any more comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. Do you have a form you want me to sign, or you want me to just sign the line?
There's nothing required to sign.
All right. It says prepare signature on the back and stuff. I got it. You don't think that needs to sign? We'll move on.
You can't want to.
Item number 15, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve. Brother Sykes, can you hear me back there? All right. Consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve and get quote from Canon to add the maintenance department to the contract for renting a Canon copy.
This is all we discussed with Monty last year. We found out we didn't have a copy. Is that
Brandon got some kind of copy. All the paperwork he generates.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. So basically, from the first budget hearing that we had a discussion that there was an opportunity to possibly get on the county contract for having a copy machine included. I'd like to request permission to go ahead and seek out bids for it.
I'm all for doing bids, but we're not budgeted to buy another copier, but we could, if we have the bids, we're right on the threshold of doing our annual budget, then we'd have some good numbers to work in on that deal. I wouldn't expect a new copier until October 1st.
Correct, sir. This is to request permission to obtain the bids at this point. Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner McAnally, a second by Commissioner Brandon. Any questions? All in favor to go out for bids to add the maintenance copier or Canon copier? I don't know if I'd restrict it to Canon though.
I'd like to open it up to see what the best
The way it was
market for the
requested
county.
to be put on the agenda, it says Canon. I wouldn't limit it to that. We want to, there's a lot of good products out there.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Again, terrific job on painting the inside. Y'all took up the whole weekend and worked until Candace came, you got her looking good.
Yes, sir. It was 15 people in 2.5 days.
By the way, I don't see no pecks on your eyes.
No, sir. It's all better.
You got all the pictures back up, even the picture of San Jacinto County's own Rhonda Morrison, who was Miss Texas back in the day. So they're all hanging back up there like this. Good. Number 16, consideration, discussion, possible vote for approval of declaration of salvage of the following items. 17 brother labels printed. Really?
In elections, yes. They don't have cables. Some of them are broken.
I don't even know.
They're label printers.
Label printers?
Yeah, it's what elections
Are they
use. No, it's one that elections use to print out, I guess, the name and I don't know what they printed out. Put on paper.
When you squeeze on, do they? Oh,
No, these are
they're not-
actually printers.
They're printers? Okay.
When you go in,
All right.
they're getting more sticky.
So she says they're using something different?
Yeah, their new program will not house them.
So they don't work at all?
Nope.
Yeah, we recently just did that on those boards that were still in the boxes because they weren't using it anymore.
I was just trying to make sure if they work or not. Because now it's salvage, that means throw them in the trash. Can I get a motion? I have a motion by Commissioner Matuno, a second by Commissioner Brandon. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. Number 17, consideration, discussion, possible vote for approval of a variance for the separation of 8 acres of land into 4-acre tracts, each of land per the survey presented by Mr. Ellisar, the Moreland Land Surveying LLC, and the Archibald McNeil Survey, abstract 218. Ingress and egress being direct off Highway 150, so it doesn't propose any roads to rebuild, or nothing like that.
Driveway all broken. I talked to Eddie about this because in his plat, he did do the drainage easement between the two lots, but he did it on the outside and back, and I'm already posted it, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve it pending his addendum to add drainage easements to those properties.
Second that. So we got drainage in the center, but not on the outside.
Didn't show the outside.
That's one of the highest hills in Evergreen. I don't believe drainage is gonna be a problem. All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, second by Commissioner McAnally. Yeah, it's got about 250 foot frontage, so it's not hard to.
It's already in the right of way. jail committee, so.
Yes.
You want to talk about it.
Yes. Any other comments upon the report? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. Number 18, consideration, discussion, possible vote to raise jailer pay $3.52 an hour for permanent jailer license holder and raise $2.52 an hour for temporary jailer license holder due to the emergency crisis staffing the detention center request. This goes into effect at the beginning of the next pay period. Chief King.
Morning, gentlemen.
Will that take it to the $20 an hour that the fellow that was here last time talked to us for about what kind of the going rate in the industry is?
Yes.
That $20?
I'm gonna present the slideshow, a little modified from it's similar to the one we did in the budget workshop, so you guys are familiar with it. I just made another copy and gave it to you. That's for the public, so they know exactly what I'm talking about here. Just really, this is the general situation right up before you get going. We're short the jailers, 11 jailers. We start at, $14.46 an hour, and we just cannot attract applicants. We're gonna have to do something to get more jailers. We need to raise the jailer pay, and we need to create some way to pay overtime at least until we get fully staffed. And I've got what I think is a solution for that. It's in your judgment, but I've tried to come up with a problem and a solution for everything.
How many positions short are you right now?
11 in the jail.
11.
Yes, sir. The jail.
Everybody's having to work overtime, comp time, just to keep it staffed, because
yes, sir.
not staffing, it's not an option, or the jail commissions come down here and shut it down.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I understand that. I've been to front of on numerous occasions.
We've got the contract inmates from other counties that provide a revenue stream, I think, that will finance this whole thing without the need for a tax increase or anything like that. This is just like the one I showed you gentlemen last time. Yes, sir.
Do we have the money in that department to pay for this through the end? I'm talking about to the end of the budget year.
It's only a couple of months, yes.
So whether or not we're making money, I mean, if you got the money in your budget to do that, the only reason we're here having a vote on it is because you just don't give raises in the middle of the year unless it's a crisis or emergency type situation. We fell into the same situation last year. District attorney, in that instance, the court determined there was an emergency, and that justified making this move.
And Your Honor, that attorney general opinion that was requested came back and reflected that was allowed.
Okay. So in your opinion, and in Paxton's opinion, that this would qualify as an emergency for purposes of the rules on what you do to your budget and so forth?
That was my understanding from all of it.
You want to come up here and stand that? Get a good shot of you. That's our district attorney, Mr. Todd Dillon, for the record. All right. Go ahead. I'm not trying to take the wind out of your sails, but go ahead. Get that part in.
I think everybody got a handout when they came in from the sheriff's office. I've got the slideshow on there. There's a sheet on there that has deposited in the general fund. That's the money that we give to the treasurer, and it goes through the auditor, and it's put in the bank. That's the revenue stream, basically. And then I've got attached to that is our line item budget for the sheriff's office and the jail. There's one column I added to this. This is an Excel spreadsheet, and we actually had a person that knew how to do that working for us. So she helped me out with this a lot. It gives me a running balance for each line item, whether I'm over budget or under budget. And what the auditor does is she keeps track of the entire budget, like is the jail over budget or under budget. She's got the big number. I can look and go, well, hey, we're buying too many uniforms, or we're using too much of this and that, so I know where to adjust the spending. It's just like you would run your house for $5 million. That's kind of how I move the money around, and this is where I scraped up what I think is enough to make this plan happen. This is our jail lieutenant, Brooks. This happened about 4 weeks ago. Picture on the left are the teeth marks, and this is just a guy in bookend decided to try to find a hole in his neck. Now, lieutenant normally doesn't do that position, but he's got to work everything because we're so short people. And he's salaried, and he doesn't get overtime, but he's working about 60 or 70 hours a week. I don't know about y'all, but 60, 70 hours a week with absolutely no overtime, it gets old, okay? Well, when you can go down the street and get paid for the hours you work, that's what they do. Right now, he hadn't done it because he's trying to gut it out, hope things get better. This Panda Express is right down the road in Houston, and one of our people got a picture of it. It starts at $17 an hour, manager trainee, $70,000 a year.
You mean we're not gonna have Chinese food for lunch? I thought that was cool. Go ahead.
Y'all can see the slide. This is where if you're hiring somebody that doesn't have a license at all, they start at $14.48. If they show up with a license, they're at $17.48. Still, if you work at the Panda, you're probably not gonna get bit in the neck. This is a comparison of other counties of like population and similar jail size. We're at the bottom of the list in pay. We have a total of 25 positions in the jail. All right, we're 44% short. This definitely creates a safety issue because everybody's working long hours and patrol deputies have to fill in empty spots, of which they have to do on their days off, and they don't get paid overtime for that. So when I can skip over to Walker County or Montgomery County and get time and a half, that's what they do.
So real quick.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to be tough. You just use Walker and Montgomery as an example. Why aren't they
Population.
Well, I mean, they're our neighbors. We're competing for the same people,
Yes, sir.
right? I mean, Polk County, Walker County.
Well, I went by the chart. I used the population because of the tax base and all that. I mean, Montgomery County is rich compared to us.
So we gotta know who's stealing.
Well, here, right now, everybody.
Well, not Polk County.
No, not Polk County. They're kind of in the same boat we are.
Well, how the other 250 odd counties doing? Aren't they in the same boat too?
Yes, sir, everybody's short.
Because we've been paying overtime since January. Kind of what some of the people.
We're not paying overtime right now.
You wanna come in?
Kind of what some of the comments people were making is we have been paying, what y'all doing. Y'all come in and ask us for jury, and you know what you want. Including the work last year that we're supposed to solve. So, we keep trying to work with to solve it.
We're not saying you're not working with us. So that's what we're not, I'm only here to try to remedy the problem.
That's what
I mean, I'm the guy that has to try to make it all work, and that's my part of it. I don't want to get in a battle or anything like
I
that.
want to point out something off of your, it says Texas Survey of Jailer Pay, and you list all the different counties. I noticed some of the ones above us, our tax rate for the county portion of Texas is 0.5779, that's our tax rate. Some of these places, U-Valley and Milam are 0.74. We'd have to have about a 20-cent tax increase to compete with them. But on the other hand, Austin County, they must have lots of commercial development out there, because their tax rate's only, it's less than half of ours according to your numbers,
Yes.
125. Our problem in this county is our tax base isn't what some of these counties are by far. We got, a third of the county is national forest, no tax base.
Yes.
No industries, no Walmart. I mean, that's why it all falls on me and you and everybody in here, the citizens who, we're taxing everybody's homes to death. That's where the bulk of our money comes. That's what makes it so hard for us to just, it'd be easy to just vote for a raise in the taxes, and I don't know how else we're gonna fund it, but I agree, we need to do what you're talking about. I just want them to know. I'd have to buckle up and accept the tax increase.
I've got an idea to try to pay for it as I go here.
Go ahead.
I've gone over this, what we need to hire, and others are paying more.
Ours how to pay for it, we know how to pay for it till the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
Because we got the money in your budget to do it, because all them guys that you haven't been able to hire, their wages are still sitting over
That's right.
in the cookie jar, so to speak.
Yes.
So we can pay for it through the end of the year, and then
I've got an idea to keep it going. Okay, the contract inmates. I think that's the key to this whole thing, I really do. For $75 a day, we average 42 of these. This is what we're pulling in. You did like you suggested, came up with a cost per day, and
it's not $11 a day, there's no way you can provide.
well, I got the bills and I divided it by the total
You're
number
not
of inmates.
factoring in the cost of hiring the jailers, though.
We have to have the jailers anyway.
You still have to apply it to everybody in the jail. You can't sit there and act like, well, it don't cost $11 a day. Well, you ain't paid the guards at $11 a day.
If you have 25 jailers and you're required to have 25, and we average 96 to 100 inmates of our own, we don't require extra jailers for the extra 42 inmates. That's lagniappe.
Every 48 inmates requires another jail.
Yes, sir.
You got so many you gotta have for 48, and you get to 96, you gotta have so many. And then when you get to 144, or whatever that number is.
That's the highest we can go. We don't go over
I know,
that.
I was there when we built it, jail. I know all about it. I was here when we figured on this excess revenue, provide summer leave to the taxpayers, once we got the jail paid off, which we did last year, so. Your budget's, what, $2.5 million?
Kevin Bradshaw, can I ask this question to both of you? Did us paying the overtime solve any problem?
For a very short period, they're probably overworked. You can only work so much, even if you're making overtime, you can only work so much till you burn out.
But that was the solution at the time.
At the time, yes. Yeah.
So how do you think giving them a raise is going to solve the problem?
Well, it's not just giving them a raise, but being able to bring in applications from, out of the county. Because apparently there's not any more left here in this county to hire. They've already been here and they're gone somewhere else to make more money. So we need to bring some people in.
I think that's abundantly clear, don't I'm not trying to send you the wrong message, I'm with you. I think you're not gonna be able to hire anybody, if you don't pay them more. How would you want to come get bid on, you know what thrown on you and everything else for $14 an hour, you can go hand out, Chinese food at Panda Express for $17 or $18.
You still get shot there.
I guess you got a shot. Yeah. I guess that's, you're right. That could happen when we walk out. Somebody could bust us out of here right now and give us a barrel. Go ahead, Chief, I'm with you.
Okay, back to the contract inmates. I know you might have a different view on it, Judge, but I've already got I'm gonna continue on my little thing here.
Oh, go ahead. That's a good point you're making.
The way I got the expenses was I just got the bills and divided it by the number of inmates over a month. So I got the electric bill, how much does each guy pay per month, basically, how much does it cost? And, the contract inmates, even with all that, we don't pay medical, transport, court, or anything. The contracted county pays all that. So their storage doesn't cost as much as our inmates cost. Because
I agree with that.
the medical.
And when we started off way back under, I'm gonna tip my hat to the sheriff for doing some really fine negotiating with these counties. Because when we started this, we were paying some of that stuff. We bought a van to go pick them all up. And he's negotiated a deal where they bring them to us. We're not having to go. And that's huge. But he's done a great job on that.
This is the
He gets all
bills.
the credit because he's the man at the top of the chain. I know y'all helped him get all that worked out. I appreciate it.
Well, like I said, this was kind of how I did the bills. I took the water, sewer, split it out, food, $7.14 a day to feed an inmate. Supplies, hygiene, cleaning, that's how we came up with $11.79 a day. Okay, this is what I think would work, and of course, you know, we just respectfully submit it to you guys for decision. The revenue stream that the jail is producing is about $90,000 a month average. I'm asking that every month, by the end of the month, when the auditor does her thing in her monthly report, 15% of that income be put into a separate line item in the jail for overtime.
That's not how county budgeting and financing works. We all pull in the same way. We put the money into the treasurer's office and it's paid out like that. You just don't get to earmark a certain portion of it. I believe we're for raising pay to get some input, but ask us to pigeonhole some of this money. It don't work like that. Next county tax collector will be officing in a mansion because she brings in $8 million a year, and that's the argument. It doesn't work that way. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay, I was trying to figure out a way to finance the overtime without using tax.
We realize that y'all are doing a bang-up job and we have excess funding. That's what we planned on years ago. Did I ever dream he's gonna be getting 75 instead of 35? No. And I tip my hat.
25, not 30.
Yeah, I believe we have the money to do what you're saying, but we're not gonna pigeonhole the money and it's just not how it's done.
Okay.
We're probably just arguing semantics here, is what we're doing, but there's money to do it, I agree with you.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead, please go ahead.
it's your department, not mine.
Well,
I'm just trying to throw ideas out there.
No,
I just want it fixed. That's all I want.
I get it.
This agenda item, that's what we're asking for. Temporary license, $2.52 an hour increase. Fully licensed, $3.52. And a lot of the rest of what I was saying was basically what we've already gone over. How we make it happen, that's up to you gentlemen, that's your department.
Right, that's right, that's all I'm trying to get.
I understand.
I'd be more than happy to entertain a motion to that effect through the end of the budget here.
Well, let's finish talking about the comp.
Hold on, I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon.
Do what?
I think they can bring the dollar figure up to 250. I'm still for discussion.
So this is my problem. You got comp time on the books, and you're gonna give a raise, which means.
Not the front area, baby.
Which means every hour on the book gets a raise.
Well, but
You need to pay the comp time on first.
For the record, if I can't get a second, I'll second the motion, which I never do, but I'm gonna second the motion. Now we can discuss it until we give out. Go ahead.
Well, is there a way to take the comp time and set it to one, create another column, so to speak? I'll check yesterday on the comp
So how our
time,
comp time is done is it's 1 week bank.
but I checked the comp time yesterday, it was $197,000. Sheriff's Department. Correct?
Well, it was, I just added up to what we were there.
So, well, if we got all this excess money that everybody's talking about, it might behoove us to put that on the next agenda.
162 for just the sheriff's office, that's including dispatch, admin.
The solution to that is to consider paying the comp time off.
That does happen to be on that next slide.
I don't see how we can't. We should do, basically, we should do that first before we get the raise.
That's right, because he's talking about the comp time, the raise will go toward, okay, it'll change everything. Okay. All the dynamics. Let me ask this question, if you raise the 252 to the end of the pay, at the end of the year, like he suggested, okay, what would that dollar amount be?
I mean, I can't tell you right off my head right now, I'd have to
What we do
calculate
to our
that.
comp time? Well, I'm just asking what that, I want to separate what that is out from this, so we know exactly how much we're talking about. If it's better to pay the comp time off and zero it out in lieu of doing that, I'm all for it. You're trying to give them the incentive to pay it off, pay it down. So I'm all for that. That's what we're trying to do, reduce the debt. That's right,
Well, let's.
We want to change the rate though, because we pay, the comp time rate's gonna be a lot different. Well, then we leave the rate like it is, just do a flat rate. You know, but then we're going back to his argument, you go to the dollars and make more, you know. It is what it is, that's the thing everyone. I think what is really concerned is that it's gonna change the comp hours, the rate on hours and stuff.
So my question to the DA is,
We'll do that, because we'll.
if we give a raise
As a rate.
without having to add the comp time to that raise,
There you go.
if we do it for a period of time, like the rest of the fiscal year, if we give a $2, $3, $4, whatever that amount is, can we give that without adding it to our existing comp time?
Yes.
So the distinction here would be whether or not, and this is in keeping with the AG's opinion that we had, I believe it was last year. Is this a mid-year transfer between budgeted items, or is it categorized under an emergency? If it's merely a mid-year transfer between budgeted items, then the court is free to do that. There's no issue with that. If that's what we're doing, that would be a problem.
That's not what we're doing, this is, have to go under an emergency situation, you just don't give raises in the middle of the year.
Right, well, the public opinion, or the AG's opinion that we asked, that's, and for the record, that's KP 0416, that's the name of the opinion. It stated when we did that last year, we could do that under a transfer of budgeted items, a mid-year transfer of budgeted items. It also stated that you.
Well, that's just how you fund it, you got the money in this line and you move it over.
That's correct.
It doesn't have anything to do with the justification.
Correct, well, justification is up to the.
I think what he was trying to ask you, is there any way, the comp time, say it was put in at, earned at $14 an hour, but when we give this raise, when they draw that comp, when they work that comp time, or take off and get that comp time, the prevailing rate will be $20. So all that $12 or $14 comp time that was earned a year ago is gonna be paid out at the rate, and hours are gonna be paid out at $20 an hour.
Okay.
And then we lock it in, I think is what he was trying.
Yeah, I think we've given them 2 raises. Yes. I think that's the point. Yes, you're right. I think
that's a good point, but I believe that is the way it works. I never heard of being able to.
Well, if you do it for a period of the rest of our fiscal year.
Lock it in.
Lock it in only on wages, to not include the existing comp time.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have.
In other words,
you
if
have
it
to have
works
another
for comp
column
time.
If you got 250 hours of comp time today, you lock that in. In March, you had comp time, that comp time will be open for 250 records.
Okay, so
Separate them out.
I think if that's an act of the court, then I don't see any issues with it. That's what you choose to do. What I would say is if we are doing, just as far as technical advice, if we are going to do this as an item of budget, transfer between budgeted items, the court can do that with no findings. If the court is doing this under the findings of an emergency, one of the things that will have to be made part of it.
We're not giving a raise unless it's an emergency.
Okay.
You're confusing where we're gonna get the money from with why we're doing it.
No, sir, I'm just trying to say the framework that has to fall under being compliant with the Attorney General's opinion. If the court does find it under an emergency, then what they have to do is that you would have to make a finding that this is a great public necessity in order to do so. So that would just have to be part of your order to be in compliance with the Attorney General's opinion. That was all I was saying.
I agree with that.
Okay, I just said that had to be part of it.
I tried to pin you down earlier. Do you think the situation we're in where we're 11 jailers short and the threat of the jail commission shutting us down because we can't staff it properly? Last year that we all considered that an emergency or grave public issue.
Is it my opinion? Sure. Your Honor, but
That's what we want, is your opinion. You're our legal advisor.
Yes, sir.
We'll all sink or swim in the same boat.
I guess they should be in the motion.
Okay, you want to amend your motion, go right ahead.
So if you do this, is this gonna be jailers only? Is this gonna be the whole sheriff department? We had to talk
Talk about the jail.
Okay, I want it,
In the jail, that's
okay.
these guys in emergency.
I want it clear for the public, that it'll be jailers for the jail only.
Now, I will amend my motion to be the $2.52 raise with a separation of current comp time as of today's date set aside and not be included in that $2.52 raise.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I mean, it's worth looking into. The only thing is the overtime, that's their overtime. And we've always paid it out at the rate that they are at. When it comes to the office, it goes in the 1 week thing. So we have to see if our software will even allow us to lock that in. Yeah, I mean,
We
and
can
we don't get an opinion on it.
Can we generate, we can figure out how much is owed right now today.
I have
Just
to.
if we don't want to do it, we may have to bring out the big sheet notebook and add it up.
Okay, so what you're wanting to do is just pay off the comp time and leave it alone. Or it's at today's rate.
Yes.
Rate goes.
Logistically with our office, that would be preferred, so that there's a definitive line as far as a payout. And then from there, if you choose to do so at that point to raise hourly rate after that for our office to take that on and make sure that that's done properly, that would be our preparation.
That may be a day, but when you pay the comp time off, then you may be short more jailers. My opinion.
Well, you got several of them there, y'all gonna quit if we pay the comp time?
Excuse me, sorry.
Y'all gonna quit if we pay comp time?
If we're paying you out what you're owed right now, what
I
time
think
is
the
that?
time time's enough for them to retire.
Having that pay raise to pay for my family, it's large than it is. So very helpful. Very helpful.
Agreement if we amend this, to pay off the comp time, less raise at this point in time, we address the raise during budget. That's accurate.
I think we can vote on paying comp time.
It's not gonna help right now to draw employees in.
Listen,
Well, there's no guarantee that raising it up $2 is gonna draw employees in anyway.
paying the comp time is not on the agenda here. Fellas,
We need to put this on.
we can do that the next week over, but let's make some progress, give them the raise, and then we'll look at our numbers and see if we could lock it in time.
How are you gonna do that? Then if you give them a raise today, then all the comp time goes. You're gonna pay the comp time off, with additional rates.
Right.
You just said we could lock it in, if we want to do that. You don't think?
We would like to have a vote and see, because it may be an issue with the Department of Labor on whether we can
Is
even
that
walk
what
in that
we're
right.
So
Attorney Freeman.
But I know during, when possible, back conferences and software things like this, especially you have the ability to create a column in that office. Create a column.
Yeah, we'd have to look at Weed Bank, but she's gonna talk with our legal consultant, well, she does the HR consultant, and there may be laws that we just can't do that. It's something that we would have to look into and not have a definite answer right now.
Today, then they're gonna be locked in.
How much money is it?
Well, on the jail.
Just on the jailers?
Just the jailers.
Just the jailers, 43,000, but this is from my last legal pool, and I can't do the new legal pool until, Tuesday.
So how many hours is that?
Yeah, it's not broke down by hours, but I can tell you, we even had a jailer work 132 hours last payroll. So that'll be on the next one.
So they, you know how much they're making an hour? Divide
Yeah,
that,
that's
see
what I'm
how
doing,
many hours it is.
You got the airline, did you?
No.
You can pick it up underneath there, too.
This is ours. Do you need it?
Yeah, but I think it's only.
I guess what you're saying is we decide, we want to pay the $43,000 in comp time off. We got, I think we have the money to do that.
You say,
It's way down from what it
you
used to
say we're not talking about comp time, but we are talking about money and dollar wise, so why can't we put that in our motion to pay the comp time?
I stand beside you. You're trying to fix this problem.
And that's right.
One more thing. Are we gonna pay comp time as a beach?
That's a different thing.
That's something for a different day.
I think we need to do it right now, we done it.
You can't make a rule that says you can't take comp time. If the guy works over and he quits, we gotta pay him.
That's what I'm saying, pay them, every pay them.
So you just wanna take it and pay them overtime and done with it.
That's right.
Pay the comp time,
They're paying
give
either
the
way.
raise, pay the overtime.
That's what he's, well, you're actually coming out ahead that way, you're not sitting there paying.
Absolutely.
We done it.
We have to see about putting that into next year's budget. We don't have the money to pay everybody comp time.
So talking about the jail.
How do y'all come up with the money at the end of the year to pay everybody the comp time?
Go.
It's supposed to be laid off. It's supposed to be, hey, you take off next week because you got comp time. That's what's supposed to happen to comp time. We're not supposed to be paying.
Short, we can't do that.
Because we're too short, nobody can take off and use
I
their
understand, man.
That's right. They overtime?
$43,000.
We're still short at the end of the year.
Ma'am, please be quiet.
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
And to put the raise.
And if you,
As soon as you make that motion, we vote on it theoretically, the comp time don't exist anymore.
So then they can start off with a blank sheet.
we'll pay overtime, include those.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to give the raise that's requested and pay the comp time up to 43,000, whatever it is. You said it 43.
That's what it is.
For the jailers. For the jailers.
As of today, but come Tuesday, that number will change.
We understand.
Okay.
We understand. Do I have a second?
Do you understand that that's not going to include his current payroll that we're in right now?
Do have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to pay the comp time that's on the books as of today. We don't know what's gonna be on there tomorrow. And give the raise that's in the motion. $3.52 an hour for license and $2.52 for unlicensed.
And going forward will be just overtime. Paid over, no comp.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon, a second by Commissioner McAnally. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0.
Is that gonna help, Mr. King?
Anything else?
Is that gonna help? Young lady. So pay comp time, now we pay overtime.
Okay.
Don't vote for overtime? We'll see.
All right.
Thank you.
Item number 19, consideration, discussion, possible vote to create a new line item for the detention budget and a new line item for the sheriff's office budget, both entitled overtime and incentive pay. Go ahead, sir.
That's kind of what we were talking about, but, I'm not the money guy. To
We
me,
don't have any comp time on the books for them, at least for them, for the jailers.
I mean,
We just voted to pay it off.
I'm just, yes, sir. I'm just saying from our point of view, maybe treasurer, I don't know, but if we had a line item for that, so we got a guy that works his salary line item covers his flat rate for an entire year, that's budgeted. So when you get a guy that quits now and they have a pile of comp time built up, that's overtime that comes out of that salary and makes that line item short. You know that, how that works. If you have a line item just for the overtime, it's easy to track. It's straight.
It's just, we just get on the computer and type in another line and put a number in there, that's gonna create the money. We don't have any money in the budget for that for this year. In the coming up budget, we could consider putting whatever that number is in a line item, but the way those things get paid, you always got unpaid positions. Sometimes you got well, not unpaid, unfilled positions. That's where we draw money to pay comp time. The lines, now, maybe one of these days we'll be up to 100%, and then we won't be able to draw in those unspent salaries to pay people's comp time. There is a way in it, but you just put a whole nother line in there and say, here, get you some, get all you can get. I wouldn't be in support of that.
Okay.
But that's just me,
Just I manage our budget and it'd be a whole lot easier for me if I could do that, and that's why I brought that up.
He's not saying you can't, he's just saying it's not time enough.
Not time.
Okay, I understand.
That's all I'm saying. You plant the seed and it's planted.
Okay, that's good enough.
We can work on maybe trying to do that if that's the will of the court.
Yes, sir.
I know how it gets funded and, I'm the chief budget officer.
Yes, sir, at your department.
I'm holding the reins a little bit, that's my job. Are we done on that line?
That's all I got.
Item number 20, consideration, discussion, possible vote to utilize Ricana Staffing Solutions to assist in recruiting qualified candidates to be employed as jailers.
I want to withdraw that because he had to go on an emergency.
Thank you very much.
Not gonna be here.
That's the same guy was here last time?
Yes, sir.
I think if we get it, y'all did put these with the workforce solutions. We had a very nice economic development meeting last week, and they were here, and, they didn't have y'all listed. They showed a big, on the screen here, a big list of all the job opportunities around, and for the sheriff's department, it had 0 on it. So, do y'all utilize them to help try to find people to go to work? I would strongly suggest it, now that you could offer $20 an hour.
Yeah, you go on there and workforce solutions and for your jailers, it's always been there, just need to utilize it.
I mean, I ain't saying you're not, I don't know, it's been a while since I looked for a job. That's statewide, people get on the internet, and it's a valuable resource. And now, you know, $20, that ought to get some lookers, I hope.
I hope so.
Yes, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item number 21, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve necessary actions on the Innovation Center.
Looking good.
Mayor Woods, you there? There he is. How we coming on the Innovation Center?
Well, we had a meeting this week with the architect and the contractor, and we resolved some issues on the air conditioning system. That is no longer an issue, it's been negotiated through, and these repairs and changes are underway.
Everything going along according to schedule over there?
Still on schedule. Schedule shows that the building should be finished on the 31st of August. And right now, I have no reason to believe that it won't be.
Good deal, good deal. I know last time I was over there, they had all the air conditioning stuff in place, the sheet rockers were there, they were trying to get it all loaded and loaded and taped and get it ready for paint, and it's coming right along.
That's ongoing right now, sir. They're actually understanding, as he says, we speak, we should be trying to finish out that sheet rock next week.
For those of y'all that don't know, somebody said something that they didn't know, but nobody knew what was going on with the building over there. We're gonna move the extension agent and all the kiddos that go to 4-H and all that. They'll have a big new classroom over there in that building and several offices. Emergency management will have a meeting room, command center for when disaster strikes and so forth, where we can all kind of get together and, you know, prepare for disasters and so forth. There'll be several offices in there, kind of like floating offices. That's the innovation part of the program. It's just say you decide you've got a good idea for making widgets or whatever, and you ain't got no place to open up, or you can come and upstart business, come in there and utilize the broadband and the electricity and so on and so forth. Help stimulate some economic development here in the county. There'd be, what, 4 or 5, half a dozen?
There's 5 office buildings in there now, and during a disaster, compared with this building here, which is a shelter.
Right.
At the same time, and you have FEMA and I and PA and everybody else coming in to give assistance, that's where they'll be housed at in one location. Like, everybody knows where they go to get their assistance.
Yeah. That's just, we got to have an area on the back with the top over it. There has been expressed interest in having like a farmer's market.
Market training place.
There'll be an area for that to go on. We'll see how that pans out. But doing a little bit of that on the courthouse square and trying to get them off of that Augustine grass and get them under a shade over there. Anyway, that's just a little bit of what's going on over there. They say, I thought he said near the end of August might be wrapping up. Correct. If and when that happens, I'd welcome everybody to come over and we'll have a little grand opening and let everybody check it out and see what your tax dollars are doing. Even though I said tax dollars, that is a $2 million grant. 400,000 of it is tax dollars. That was our commitment. Because of COVID and the delays that were caused by COVID and the construction, the price rose up, and we had to use some American Recovery funds to bridge the gap in what it came. We got bid out at and the $2 million that we had to build. But anyway, there is that money in there. The majority of it is grant. Anything else going on? Anything we need to vote on as far as we've already decided what color we're going to paint the rooms, or this is that, or whatever?
Everything's already done.
No decisions need to be made.
Looking good.
Let's move over to item number 6, consider approval of claims.
they're waiting on new invoices. No. Apparently so. According to Bowen, they're waiting on revised invoices.
Now they're getting a refund.
What? Well, no, this is the first time we've paid them.
No.
So what's it supposed to be?
I always thought it was 125, they said it's 250. Only location. And they pick up a sheriff's property. I went to, I was out last year, and they picked up one for sheriff. That's what it's for.
This way, with me knowing, I can catch it before it gets here.
I'm sorry.
With me knowing, I can catch it before it gets.
I'll talk to you.
What is that?
I have a motion by Commissioner Brandon to pay the bill. I have a second by Commissioner McNally to pay the bill. Any bills that we have any questions on?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0.
Is that what goes on the tower?
I can't hear.
Item number 7, consider approval of budget amendments and revenue certification. We have one from Tatum for $7,692. One note from Tatum precinct, out of precinct 2, precinct 3, $20,256.56, and an EDA grant reimbursement, $168,583.96. That EDA grant reimbursement is reimbursing the construction costs we put out on the building right here. EDA has who funded that building. About 2/3 of it. I have a motion by Commissioner Tuno, a second by Commissioner Brandon. So on this Tatum reimbursement thing, opens up the question I had of Mr. Brandon. I think we got one.
He didn't understand that quarter report.
There's no activity done over the last quarter, then all you can put is there's no activity.
As I explained to him, he read it, this is closed down, we only have one piece of it that's open.
Well, that's what he said.
And that has to be with the last project.
Yeah.
What? Hey, it's finished. Is it?
Yes. Good. That was my question, that's tied to those two revenue certifications. I guess it wasn't on those. You get checks on that, means they are closed.
That was for you.
Yeah. So, we haven't voted yet. I got a motion and a second. Any other comments?
We don't have that on there. We don't have this on there. Checked on. This right here.
That's the, when did we have one? It's in the, it would have been done this weekend. Yeah, there's two different people.
We hadn't seen that on
Oh, no, it's.
It was blind.
Yeah, I was highlighting right there, that way it's not.
You do play me new pair of house.
I can try. I'll tell you every time.
Visible darlings.
So that's not considered what to do in Australia.
Yes, it's the, last time, it's the.
Any other questions on the budget amendments, revenue certifications? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
The state.
Ayes have it, I presume 5-0.
Yes, sir.
We get back to all.
They turn around.
Tough job.
Hey, hurry up, Judge, I reckon I'm gonna give an interview. Sorry, sir. You need to hurry up, I reckon I'm gonna give an interview on Saturday.
Any of y'all want to do an interview with me first?
Sir?
You want to do an interview with me first?
Me?
Before you go out there?
I saw it.
Practice?
Probably gonna like my interview.
Well, audition.
We got news media over there. He'll cover it.
That's up to the hierarchy, he's like the judge, he likes it. Well, the acting judge, Judge Pro Tem.
We don't have any minutes, we don't have any reports.
Thank you.
Did get some in yesterday from the fire marshal.
Thank you.
That's all I know of, y'all have, where's Mr. Dillon? Do you have something you need to visit with us in executive session about?
I don't, Your Honor. Unless the court needs me, I'm just here for any questions that may arise.
I'll make a motion to adjourn now.
As you're walking out the door.
What kind of issue is it we gotta address
This here would have to do with property on the potential.
On the what? I'm sorry.
I think there's a question on the seizure, the property that's in the seizure. Is that what you're talking about? So we need the district attorney to update us on that? All right, what time is it?
Well, the restaurant, you gotta start with it.
11:23, let the record reflect that, we're gonna go adjourn the regular session, go into executive session under, section, consult with our legal attorney.
Yes, sir.